Greetings, everyone. This is Rock and Roll Spot coming at you with the weekly comic roundup. We've covered this week's X-Men and Star Wars books. Now it's time to move on. Kicking things off, we've got Amazing Spider-Man number 22. So where we left off, Amazing Spider-Man was telling the story of just what happened. So, in the present, there's a freak storm going on in New York. Norman Osborn sees this and opts to suit up, discovering one of the interns at Oscorp, Kamala Khan, looking over the gold goblin armor. In the patent. Oh yes, and where we left off, like I said, covering what happened. So Peter and Mary Jane ended up in what appears to be another an alternate reality, thanks to Dr. Rabin. But so they've been there for a bit, and they're dealing with a creature. They're saved by a mysterious stranger. Turns out to be the man that Mary Jane is currently with in the present. But he takes them someplace safe, and there's a lot of tech based on totems. Peter kind of nerds out. Apparently, spider totems are spider-based ones are a little he seems to have trouble with spider totem based tech, but he's got what appears to be something similar to the dimensional watch that Ghost Spider used to have. Elsewhere, Dr. Rabin summons forth the god that he is the emissary of, explaining he brought the sacrifice and the sun blood. Peter does a little bit of work on the spider-based item, bringing up things like the web of life and destiny. But they're attacked by Raven's god, and well, Spider-Man opts to be the hero, but giving MJ the dimensional watch thingy to tell her, get back, call the FF. We also learned that apparently Johnny Storm is constantly asking for her number, but she does still have the FF's number. But instead, she activates it and sticks it on Peter, and he heads back. And with the rift it causes, seemingly destroys the god and deposits Spider-Man in Pennsylvania, in the crater of a large explosion. And that is where the issue ends. But we're getting to see what's going on. It's because what's MJ's current relationship is starting to, making a little more sense. Anyway, moving on though to our next book. I'm digging the story. I'm glad they're getting to the story sooner rather than just kind of keeping it hovering above our heads. Oh, what did Peter do? What did Peter do? Moving on though to our next book, we've got Carnage, number 11. Where we left off, Carnage symbiote had made his had forged his weapon in Nidavellir, and while Kenneth Neely and John Shade tried to destroy him, well, that blew up in their faces, and Neely ended up back on Earth in front of the orphanage that Cletus Cassidy grew up in. The orphanage, which Cassidy's spirit, or essence, or whatever, currently inhabits. So, Neely talks to Cletus, trying to plead, like, apparently Cletus is his idol. It wasn't so much the Carnage symbiote that Neely was trying to get the attention, but rather Cletus himself. And he takes, but Cletus takes Neely to the scene of one of his various massacres, where he killed more people in one place than Neely has over the entirety of his career as a serial killer. And Neely tells Cletus a bit about what's going on. And meanwhile, the Carnage symbiote opts to bond with Detective Shade, deciding to revisit some of the places that Shade visited his hunt for Carnage. Cletus gets into Neely's memories and explains that, and basically says that him and Neely are inherently different. With Cletus, it's chaotic. There's carnage. With Neely, it's controlled. There's a plan. A greater plan than just kill some more, keep killing. But Neely attempts to escape. And he's stopped, and we learn a little more. Part of what's going on with both the symbiote and Cletus is the result of Cletus attempting to bond with, take over the symbiote dragon that the Extremis symbiote dragon that Iron Man created. But he explains that, but Neely goes on to add that basically call Cletus a bystander, adding that all these years he's been playing to an audience of one. And there's no distinction between Cletus and Carnage. They were one and the same. With Carnage gone, what's Cletus? Which Cletus, he's Cletus fucking Cassidy, and well, Neely suggests he remind the world of that. And Cletus says that now he gets why Carnage kept Neely around, as he heads out to give the world the Cletus Cassidy show. That is where the issue ends, further setting the stage for the Summer of Symbiotes, or actually, Carnage Reigns arc that's coming up next for Carnage, which will include a crossover with Miles Morales' Spider-Man. Things are getting interesting in the Carnage book. definitely very interesting. Moving on though to our next book, we've got Spider-Man: The Lost Hunt, number 5, wrapping up the hidden year, yet another wrapping up a miniseries set in time that wasn't entirely well documented comic book wise, for at least for Spider-Man. Well, for Peter Parker. Where we left off, we learned Orisha's origin, and she managed to save Peter, and however, her son Gregor had arrived at Peter's MJ's apartment with a menagerie of animals he had somewhat taken control of. Orisha opts to stop him, or at least prevent him from getting to Peter and MJ, suggesting that Peter and MJ go to her house, which has a safe room in the basement. Orisha is able to remove her son's control over the animals, though she misses one, a vulture, which wounds her. However, Gregor's cheetah has followed the Parkers. Who discover in Orisha's basement a room full of Wakandan artifacts, and something that Orisha stated that if Gregor shows up, Peter will know how to defend himself and MJ. It's a spider armor. Gregor and Peter duke it out. Mishkin, that's the cheetah's name. Mishkin is kept calm by Orisha. Then, but Peter defeats Gregor, but refuses to kill him. MJ steps out, so explains, that's because that's not who Peter is. So Gregor tries to kill her, but Orisha ends up taking the hit. Gregor stabbing her in the chest and killing her. He retakes the name that she gave him, Takar, and realizing his feeling a failure, he decides to emulate Kraven one last time. However, Peter stops him from saying he couldn't stop Kraven himself from doing that, but he will stop Takar from doing so. Takar states that what the enmity between him and Spider-Man is over. Peter and MJ return to their lives, and things seem to be going well. We end with Takar standing over his mother's grave, wandering off into the storm, when a hand shoots up from the grave, and that is where the series ends. This was a neat little book. I'm really liking, much like with the Symbiote Spider-Man books that Peter David was writing, as well as the Ben Reilly miniseries that came out during the Spider-Man Beyond story. I like these hidden years type miniseries for Spider-Man. It makes for some. It's definitely makes for some fun stories. Moving on to our next book, we've got She-Hulk, number 11. So where we left off, Jack of Hearts had returned with his powers back, and him and Jen began dating. Now, to also bring up a previous plot point from the book, She-Hulk, early on in the series, had a fight with Titania, and the two of them talked about things, and that sometimes it'd just be nice to, to be able to just fight someone that can actually take it, and dish it out too. And so, She-Hulk and Titania exchange numbers and kind of, hey, you want to have a quick little fight somewhere, or basically a sparring match, hit me up. And that's what they're doing. They've also brought in Volcana, and the Thing is potentially being brought into their fight club. He thinks it should be called Clobbering Club, but Luke Cage and Danny Rand are watching. Cage is constantly asking for someone to tag him in, but everyone pretty much is like, yeah, I don't want to hit the mayor. But She-Hulk leaves and returns home where Jack makes dinner. Jack Martins has made dinner. They're eating. Apparently, and she asks if he gets anything out of it, and not really. But then She-Hulk tries to tell him he doesn't have to eat and pretend. He doesn't have to pretend to eat just for her. But it's the problem is that he's worried about stealing basically stealing away her gamma radiation. So he's reluctant to touch She-Hulk, obviously. But she gets a call from the Fantastic Four. They have a situation. Basically, there's a secret government facility. Reed's working on stuff there, and they need She-Hulk to watch the place, explaining that Reed's handy, Sue's handy, Ben and Johnny are both handy if she sees anything, in case Jen sees anything weird. Also sending an invitation to her and her new mystery boyfriend to come by the Baxter Building sometime, just for basically like a couple's date type of thing. Things are rather boring though, except until a masked stranger comes by and tries to break into the lab. This masked stranger dukes it out with throws She-Hulk aside, gets in, and well, she's done holding back, so they duke it out, but she gets knocked out the window by the guy. And ends up wondering just who the hell he is. And that is where the issue ends. This is interesting. And next issue is supposed to be the Legacy number 175 will be an extra-sized issue. So I imagine we'll potentially learn the identity of this new rogue. Moving on, though, to our last works moment, we've got Wasp, number 3. Where we left off, the Wasps had managed to track down the creature from Cosmos, and were seemingly disintegrated. Turns out that Cosmos just the creature from Cosmos took them to basically created realities for them and put each of them in a separate one. Basic realities without Hank Pym. Kind of the connecting tissue, so to speak. Nadia going through her Red Room training. Janet dealing with the aftermath of her father's murder. But elsewhere, Jarvis is coming after Wasp, trying to get a hold. He's been leaving voicemails for Tony to no avail. Even threatening if he doesn't hear back soon, he'll likely call. Likely see if Dr. Richards can help. But in Nadia's alternate reality, she's Star People of the Red Room. Even putting one of her fellow students in a coma, the daughter of a highly ranking general. Meanwhile, Janet takes down the creature from Cosmos with a truck full of ammonia, and later helps to fund a super team. But Jarvis arrives in Queens at the location that Nadia and Jan went to, and is met by one of the robots, and is also brought to Cosmos, and well, and had to deal with his worst fear. Phantasma, that's the robot that they dealt with. But apparently, what we see of Jarvis's nightmare scenario is that he's apparently a beggar on the street. Like I said, Jan helps fund a super team called the Operatives. It would be the Avengers, but, well, she's calling herself the Avenger. So, however, while talking with someone on the phone, Nadia pops into Janet's window, opting to kill her, gun in hand. That is where the issue ends. Interesting. I really liked the Ant-Man miniseries from last year, and this is a nice little companion, I'd say, to it. I'm digging it so far. We've got one issue left, so we'll see how it wraps up. Anyway, that's going to do it for now. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Patreon, and PayPal will be found in the description box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off, saying, live long and rock hard.